Today I've got a string skipping, cross picking lick for you, brought to you by Elixir strings. Let's have a listen to it. So this deceptively tricky lick makes use of string skipping, specifically alternate picking, string skipping, and even more specifically, a cross-picking mechanic, which we will get into in just a moment. I'm going to begin though by showing you the left-hand fingering, because that's actually the easy part, and it's just two 6-note sequences, although it does serve as a very cool finger independence exercise. Let's begin by placing finger number 1 on fret number 7 on our A string. We'll then follow up with finger number 3 on fret number 9 on the D string, like this. We're then going to play finger 2 on B8, followed by finger 3 again on D9. And then finger number 1 is going to be on fret number 7 on the B string, followed by D, fret number 9, again with your third finger. And that's going to give us this. This is the first 6-note sequence. From here, we're going to play exactly the same thing again, but we'll replace the notes that we had on B fret number 8 and fret number 7 with your 4th finger on B10 and then your 2nd finger on B8, which would give us this. So we have A7 and D9 again. And in this case, it's going to be 4th finger on B10, followed by 3rd finger on D9. Finger 2 is going to finish things up on B fret number 8 and finger 3 on D fret number 9, which gives us this. Those two sequences together are going to sound something like this. Now already that makes a really cool finger independence exercise. Of course you can also play this quite slowly and it sounds very cool because it's outlining essentially, for the most part, an E minor add 9 chord with the addition of a little sus4 up there, which gives us this kind of sound. And you can play this over any E minor chord. If you're playing in the key of E minor, it also works quite nicely over C. Bit of a finger twister, but for the purpose of demonstration, you can hear how well that works. It's a really cool sound. Now, on to the most difficult part, which is going to be the cross-picking mechanic on the right hand. Now, for this one, we're going to turn to our picking cam. You will notice if I slow this down that my pick has to escape the string on every stroke, but I'm going to show you first of all what I'm not doing. What I'm not doing is dipping my plectrum very violently down into the plane of the strings and then lifting it very violently back up using the same motion. That will be something like this. You can see there what I'm doing is I'm essentially extending my wrist on both strokes. This is actually a very inefficient way to perform this movement and falls apart very quickly at high speed. It looks something like this. This is the wrong way to do it. It's very hard to do, it requires a lot of concentration, and at speed it's a recipe for disaster. Very, very tough to do indeed. Instead, what we're doing is we're incorporating a slight rotation into my pick stroke, and I'm using just enough clearance on both sides so that I'm clear of the next string. So for example, if I take my A string downstroke, I'm going to start up here. You will notice that I have a very slightly supinated forearm position. It's not full on like this, it's just a teeny tiny bit. As we go down to strike the string, I'm going to follow through with a tiny bit of wrist extension. And this is actually accompanied with a little bit of finger extension as well, like this. Now from a tactile perspective, the way I feel this one is more of a swing of the thumb. So I'm putting my intentionality into this thumb, but you will find your own personal tactile cue for this one. Again, it's very important to make sure that you're using a shallow arc rather than a very exaggerated V. This is going to enable you to clear the strings for those tricky string crosses. This has been a lesson brought to you by Elixir Strings, and I will see you next time.